and disappointing this season of my Pampered Chef career was. Thankfully, I took some time and decided that I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be. And I also knew I was not going to be satisfied at the director level. So I faced the reality that something had to change. I needed to enter a season of putting my head down, working hard, learning, and adapting had to take place. So let's start at the beginning. I have been a superstar cooking consultant my entire career. Like many of you, I hear all the time, "Wow, you're so good at this." And I think, I know I am. I've been able to earn every top level trip and most years earned excellence in multiple categories. I've earned all the monthly freebies, but dang it, leading a large executive organization was eluding me, even though I was a superstar cooking consultant. That pain of losing my executive title made me start looking around and noticing things. I started noticing leaders popping up who were virtual consultants, and they were building virtual teams very quickly. I was sure it was the missing piece for my organization. I realized this was the time I needed to actively embrace change and open my mind to learning something new. At that time, I decided to no longer dip my toes into the waters of virtual parties, but it was time for me to jump in with both feet and get proficient, confident, and even excited about the virtual world. Never mind that I didn't know what I was doing. Remember, I was a superstar cooking consultant. I knew I would have to humbly reach out to the others for help. So I messaged the ones who were doing virtual parties, and I asked for some assistance. I am forever grateful for their willingness to help me, but I will say there were still some things I just had to do myself through trial and error. I had to be okay to walk into a world that I was not an expert in. I had to know that it was okay to make mistakes, and it was okay to have things get a bit messy, because I knew in my gut that payoff would be more than worth it. I'm so okay with not being perfect, faking it, and failing now and again. I love this quote. Sometimes your confidence is so low because you think your confidence is correlated with what you know versus what you are willing and able to figure out.
I love that. All right. Thank you for that. So, Julie, describe a setback and really how you handled it.
Sure. So as I just shared, of course, I had to be adaptable when I lost my executive title, which thankfully I was. But that doesn't mean that I always handled that setback well. For instance, as I started watching my executive team start slipping away and directors were dropping off, I actually went from 10 directors when I promoted down to 3 in just 6 months. I felt fear, and I let that fear paralyze me. I was watching the wheels fall off and not taking any action. Now, as a leader of a senior executive team, when I feel fear, which sometimes I do, I immediately take action. For example, if I think our sales are low, I plan a booking blitz or booking boot camp. If I think my personal team is stagnant, I plan a recruiting blitz and personally participate. The key is to always take action before, during, and after a setback. I'm often asked how I know a setback could be coming, or how I can be proactive and potentially avoid a setback, or at least lessen the effects of it. One way is to not rely on your feelings or emotions. Instead, check your numbers regularly. Utilize your prior year comparison report and compare where you are each month, looking for growth year over year. We are always looking for growth in the areas of sales, recruiting, end count, and qualified directors. Sometimes a setback is unavoidable, but you can still take action that will impact your results. For example, be consistent with onboarding new consultants with a fast track to success system, holding a booking blitz or recruiting blitz, and consistently running a director bound program. After my big setback, I had to completely reinvent myself by going all in with virtual parties. First, I needed to believe that I was just as smart as everyone else and that I could be a great leader, just like all of the leaders that I looked up to. I reminded myself daily with positive affirmations that I said and read. When you use affirmations, be sure they are action-based and written in the present as if they've already happened. Here are samples of mine. I am a leader of a strong executive team. I am an inspiration to my leaders. My leaders follow my example. And I am the comeback kid.
I love that. So, Julie, tell me about the results of all these changes that you made.
Sure. We promoted to an executive team in June 2017 with 11 leaders. Then in 2018, we ended that year with 14. Now you may be thinking, that's only 3 more leaders. But that's because we dropped 4 and added 7. That's still growth. The reality of what happened that year is that we all continue to learn and work out the kinks in our systems with our new title. It is important that when you do have growth, that you're acknowledging it. It would have been easy to compare myself to others that were growing faster that year, but I know that's never productive. Last year, we finished the year with 24 leaders, and in December of 2019, we became a senior executive team. We are so grateful for our comeback story.
I love that comeback story. So, how do you consistently and actively seek out new learning opportunities and really help your team to do the same?
Well, the truth is, I'm addicted to learning. I always have a book on Audible that I'm listening to. I typically have a physical book sitting on my desk that I'm reading as well. I even formed a book club with my team, reading a new professional development book each month, along with a meeting on Zoom to discuss our takeaways. In addition to reading, I listen to podcasts, coffee talks, and spotlight trainings from home office. I will never stop learning. I can only take my team as far as I am, so I must keep improving if I want them to do the same. I also believe in the importance of networking with others and taking advantage of home office trainings. I've joined many home office programs like Lead Plus, and Executive Bound. Once I was in one of those groups, I met people that I looked up to and began to form networking groups. Networking one-on-one or in small groups with other like-minded leaders in our business keeps me focused and energized.
All right, thank you. So I know a lot of leaders have been very vulnerable during this Empower session as they've been teaching. So I'm curious for you, Julie, in what way have you had to be vulnerable with your team and share something that led to a personal growth opportunity, recognizing that as leaders, we always have room to grow?
Sure. I work hard with my leaders so they don't lose their career titles. But if they do, I tell them, you will be a comeback story too. I share my story with them, and many of the leaders in my organization feel that I truly can relate to their tough situation because I've been there myself.
Wow, that's so true and very powerful to be able to share that with them. So thank you so much, Julie, for sharing your wisdom and helping all of us understand how important it is to continually learn and grow. It's always such a joy to work with you. So let's show some love to Julie. All right, so take a look at the 5 assessment questions on page 44 and